All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. I didn't realize I didn't empty up my StreamYard data. So silly. Anyways, what's up, everybody? We got a good show today. We're going to talk about whether or not the 49ers are contenders or are they pretenders. They're 4-4, coming off a massive win against the Rams. We're hyped up. We're going into the bye week, but are the 49ers for real, or was it just because they played the Rams? We're going to talk all about that and more here. I hope you guys have had a great day. Let's get to it. Play a little intro. What's up? What's up? What's up? How is everybody doing today? CMC to the Bay with OBJ on the way, says Ryan. He's overhyped. What's good, Brendan Murphy? What's up, everybody? How's everybody feeling? Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Yo, check out the fresh gear we got today. I went and caught me a CMC throwback Stanford jersey. Bro, this jersey I could not wait to put this thing on. Oh my God. Christian McCaffrey. Now, I know I'm going to get the Niner jersey, but I had to go and cop the throwback, the college jersey. Thank God I live close to Stanford Stadium and the athletic store. Shout out to them. I went out there after work and I drove there and I was like, I need to get some Stanford gear for Christian McCaffrey. In my mind, I was like, that'd be dope if they had the CMC jersey. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's it. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. So, yeah, it kind of an impulse buy, but it was a good impulse buy. It was a dub buy. And you know what? Speaking of CMC, he won the NFC Player of the Week. Shout out to Christian McCaffrey. 3 touchdowns. King Christian was hailed as the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. They crowned him. And I think my call to Roger Goodell might have helped last night. I don't know if you guys saw it on Instagram. We called him, put a little scare tactics in him. You know, everybody said, oh, what about A.J. Brown? What about Jalen Hurts? What about them? Christian McCaffrey literally ran for a touchdown, passed a touchdown, and he caught a touchdown. 3 touchdowns, triple crown, first time since 2005 anybody's done it, and he carried this team. If it wasn't for Christian McCaffrey, the 49ers don't win this game against the Rams. The most monumental win of the season so far. Shout out to Christian McCaffrey, NFC Player of the Week. He deserves a bouquet of flowers. Man, the guy was phenomenal, and I'm glad he won NFC Player of the Week award. He deserved it. Well deserved. Second week with the team. The second week with the team. And he went out and had 3 touchdowns. Like, that's phenomenal. What a way to learn the roster. And it's because he's smart, because he went to Stanford. Stanford University, shout out. I'm going to send my daughter there when she's old enough. I telling you, if she still lives in the Bay and she wants to stay here in California, I'm going to persuade her to go to Stanford. It's a good school, man. Smart guy, smart people, smart kid. I love it. I love it, man. I'm so hyped up. And I think Christian McCaffrey is one of the reasons why this team can be a contender. We'll talk all about that. Appreciate you, Brendan. He says, Roger's always drippy. I try my best. Try to be dripped out. You know, got to have the swag. Now, there's another guy I need to talk about before we get into, you know, are the Niners contenders? Are they pretenders? All that stuff. It's Jimmy Garoppolo. Shout out to Jimmy Garoppolo. It's his birthday, 31st birthday today. We got to give Jimmy his flowers. Yo, he had a great game on Sunday. He played one of the best games I've seen him play. Honestly, this was probably the best game I've seen him play since 2019 against the Saints. Boy was throwing dimes. He was stretching the field. He throws that pass to Dwelly. We've talked about him all week. It's amazing. It's amazing how good Jimmy looked. And he can stay consistent. That's the key with Jimmy, because he's been inconsistent through his career. He's been hurt through his career. And he's never, like, sometimes you're just like, is he going to make the mistake? Is he going to cost us this game? But if Jimmy plays the way he played on Sunday, this team can go very far. He didn't make any mistakes. He pushed the ball down the field. He got the ball to the playmakers. And Christian McCaffrey is the perfect player for Jimmy Garoppolo. There's been a lot of people talking about it, and I completely agree. Brent Jones yesterday was talking about it, how he says this is a guy that helps Jimmy's confidence because he's always open. He's a check down, like Jimmy's the check down king. Christian McCaffrey's the perfect check down receiver. And that's perfect for Jimmy because he's going to be so confident, because when he throws it to CMC, he's going to be like, oh, I know he's going to be able to catch it, and he's going to be able to do amazing things after the catch, just like Debo. So now he's got two similar players in Debo and CMC. That's going to make Jimmy Garoppolo so much more confident. So if Jimmy just trusts these guys, he's going to continue to play well. And I think Jimmy's arm strength is stronger this year than I've seen it in a long time, because he is throwing the ball down the field. Maybe the shoulder surgery was something that really helped him, because I've seen him push the ball down the field a lot this year, more than I've ever seen him before. And I'm telling you, maybe the shoulder surgery really fixed whatever was going on in there, and he's throwing it with less, issues. He's throwing it without restriction. And I mean, that pass to Dwelly, you can't talk about it enough. It looked like it was a beautiful pass, because it was a beautiful pass. And I honestly think that shoulder surgery might have done him right. So shout out, man. My man 49er Jeff says, I didn't know Jimmy was a Scorpio. Yo, Scorpio season. Shout out to the Scorpios out there. Jimmy Guap, it's Scorpion season for my man. He definitely is a Scorpio. Birthday today. If anybody else is having a birthday out there today, happy birthday to you. You have the same birthday as the Italian stallion, Jimmy Garoppolo. My favorite comment, I don't know if you guys saw it on Twitter. It was one of the PFF writers. He tweeted out, it was the most handsome touchdown he's ever seen. Jimmy Garoppolo to Christian McCaffrey. I bet you the ladies love that combo, man. That had me in stitches. When I saw that tweet, I was cracking up. Jimmy to CMC. I mean, it was a dime. And the dude tweeted out, that's the most handsome touchdown combination I've ever seen. I was cracking up. But, man, they're a great duo. And, again, I think Christian McCaffrey's makes him very comfortable. And I think he's only getting better in this roster. You know, the thing about Christian McCaffrey, after the game, they asked him, they always ask him stuff, and he says, I left a lot of meat on the bone. Like, he still felt like he could play better. It's crazy to me to hear that, because Christian McCaffrey won NFC Player of the Week, and in his mind, he didn't even play as good as he could have. He thinks he could have played better, man. He could have played better, right? It's wild to me to think that this guy sat there, had a phenomenal game, and in his mind, at the end of the game, he just wasn't satisfied. But if you look at the tape, he did leave, he had some fumbles. I bet he wishes he didn't have those, but hey, the ball bounced the right way. Ray was in the right place at the right time, and that didn't cost him. But I bet you he was looking at that going, oh man, I could have been better. I could have ran a little bit more. I could have had more yards. Guy's a baller, man. He's got that Mamba mentality, and he's hungry, and that's why I think Christian McCaffrey's of course he's going to make this team better. He already has, but this is a reason why I think the Niners can be contenders, because they have this guy. He's a superstar, flat out superstar. And when you have a superstar playing hungry like that, it's crazy, because he just wants to elevate himself and make everybody around him better. It's the Christian McCaffrey effect. He's making everybody around him better, right? People see that. I guarantee you. Kittle, Debo, everybody out there, Ayuk, they see this guy second week on the team, and they see him grinding, working hard, trying to be better. He's already a superstar, but he's trying to be better and make himself even greater. That's going to spill into the team. He's going to be a great confidence builder for everybody, not Jimmy. And that's why I think that this team can go on a run, and I think they are contenders, because you have a guy like Christian McCaffrey who is he's just built different, right? For lack of a better analysis or lack of better words, he's built different, man. And this guy is going to make everybody around him better. Check out the Kittle play. So the perfect example, the Kittle touchdown, right? Where Jimmy, that crazy little touchdown at the corner of the end zone. If you watch that play, I've watched this play probably 100 times already in different angles on the film, live, regular camera angle, everything. Every defensive player bid on Christian McCaffrey. They were all swarming him because he attracted a lot of attention, right? Like a magnet. And Kittle was wide open in the corner. So that right there was the Christian McCaffrey effect. That was it right there. And he's only going to improve everybody. And then when Debo comes back, dude, there's the Debo effect, right? Debo's going to be there. You're going to have Christian McCaffrey. And then Elijah Mitchell is coming back after the bye. What the heck, man? This offense is getting incredibly healthy, and they're only getting better. And the offensive line has played better over the weeks. Every week they improve themselves. Every week I've seen the offensive line get better. Trent Williams is back. Obviously, he hasn't been himself. In the standards of Trent Williams, he hasn't had like that season he did last year, right? It was like, oh my God, he's the best player in the league. He's still been good because he's Trent Williams. He's still one of the highest rated players at lineman for PFF. He's still one of the better guys. He's missed some games, but you can tell he still hasn't played at that Trent Williams level. He's still playing pretty good, but he can only get better. Now, once he gets healthy, obviously Trent Williams will play at that Trent Williams level. And then you have Aaron Banks, who's played great. Spencer Burford, who's played really good as a rookie, and he's getting more confidence. Jake Brendel started slow. I don't think he's like the world beater. I don't think he's elite, but he's being serviceable. He's cleaning up the mistakes. Then you got McGlinchey out there. He's good in run blocking. Like I know everybody hates the guy and he's a punching bag, but if you watch him as a run blocker, he's like a spearheaded rhino just crushing people down the sideline. So he is good at run blocking. I'll give him that. And you got Kittle out there and Juice, who are also excellent at running. When they go to the right and they have Kittle stacked up with Juice and McGlinchey, the plays are pretty effective and they go for big yards. The problem is pass protection. Can McGlinchey improve in pass protection? It's been, 4 or 5 years, and he's still the same. So I don't know if he's ever going to improve in pass protection. Now, I know he has the calf injury, and he came into the season with a major quad tear that he rehabbed. So I don't know if he's ever going to be 100% this year, but he's still an effective run blocker. But the O-line in general, overall, has been better than I thought they would be coming into the bye week. So I will give them that. Overall, they have a lot of younger players, and I was skeptical on how this offensive line was going to be. They've been better than I thought. Obviously, they're not perfect, but they're improving, and they're younger guys, Burford and Banks. Those are the two guys that you're like, you know what? You see signs of very good, promising linemen. Banks is going to be a great player, and Burford's shaping up to be a really good player, too. So those two guys could be cornerstone linemen for years to come. So those guys are getting better. It's very promising. What's up, my man? 49er Reminder. What's up, Bash? What's up, man? He says Brendel is serviceable, but I'd like to upgrade at center and right tackle. Yeah, of course. In the future, this offseason, they've got to get a premium center or a right tackle. They definitely could improve. They're not like elite. They're serviceable. I think they're a little bit more than serviceable. Again, then they're only going to improve as the chemistry continues to build. I would like them to see. I would like to see them get like big time players there at those positions. But I will say this. Nick Zakelj, the guy they drafted this year, I think he's going to be your future center. I think they're really trying to develop him. Now, whether he pans out or not is what we have to decide. That's going to be up to him if he can learn the game and stuff. But I think Nick Zakelj is going to be the future center. Right tackle, don't ask me what's going to happen. I don't know. But that's a position that they're going to have to really look into and really decide if they want to make sure they want to keep McGlinchey. What's up, 49ers throwback? What's good? He says, how's my daughter doing? She's doing good. She's been working very hard. She's got a lot of tests. Always studying, always doing good. Appreciate you, man. She had a great Halloween. Halloween was fun, and she got way too much candy. I tried to take as much as I could. Bots. Why do we have bots on here? It's crazy. You made it when you had bots. 49er Jeff says, what do you think what do you predict our record to be these 9 games? Honestly, I think the Niners are still going to be 11-6. I predicted them 11-6 to start the season, and I'm going to stick with it, man. I honestly think that they're going to still win out, and that's why I think they're contenders. The whole theme of this show is contenders and pretenders. I honestly think they're going to be contenders. They have a tough game against Seattle. That's going to be the matchup. That's going to be the division game. But they have a lot of winnable games against teams that have been underachieving. The Saints, they don't have a great quarterback situation. They have the Raiders coming up. That's a game where the Niners could probably whoop them. Raiders have been very bad this season. Arizona will be a tough game because it's a division game, but they haven't played well. They've underachieved. I think we at least split it. You have the Chargers. It's a winnable game. It's not going to be easy, but I think they can win it. Then you have Washington. I mean, that's a game where the Niners can win. Dolphins will be tough. The Buccaneers, they've been falling apart. So I feel like the Niners can win. They can still come out and win a lot of games. They can still come out and win 11 games. Will it be easy? No. But I still think they can come out and win 11 games, man. I really do see it. And the good thing about this team is they're about to get healthy, and I feel like a run's coming. That's the key, is they're getting healthy. Remember, early in the season, every week, injury, but they're getting Elijah Mitchell back, right? That's going to be big. Arik Armstead's coming back eventually. You're going to have Azeez Al-Shahir coming back. You're going to have Kyle Juszczyk back. You're going to have Deebo Samuel back. Jason Verrett might play a little bit. So you're getting guys that are getting back to the roster. And then once they kind of hit that stride and they go on a run, these players are going to be healthy and in good shape towards the end of the run when everybody else is getting beaten up and maybe getting hurt. So I think that we're going to peak at the right time. And I know the Eagles right now are looking amazing. They're undefeated, but they're peaking early. Sometimes it's better to peak late than peak early. You know what they say, right? It's better to start. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I still think the Niners could go on a run and win 11 games. Now, I know 11 sounds like a lot because we have 4 right now. And it's like, oh, man, they got to win 7 games. But 7 out of these 9 games are very winnable games. Again, I think the 2 hardest games on the schedule are probably going to be the Chargers and Seattle Seahawks. Oh, maybe the Dolphins too. 3 really tough games that I could see us being like, oh, man, maybe we don't win those. So maybe 10 games if you lose those 3. But I still think they can win against the Chargers. They're going to be coming off the bye week. The Chargers have a lot of injuries too. They have J.C. Jackson out for the year. They have Joey Bosa is going to be banged up. Keenan Allen's been dealing with injuries. Justin Herbert's phenomenal though, so we're going to have to be able to stop the pass attack. And then again, Miami Dolphins. That's going to be a revenge game. It's basically Miami Niners. Half our old team is on the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be crazy, but it's going to be a chess match. That game, it's going to be Mike McDaniel versus Kyle Shanahan chess battle. It's going to be like 2 guys go. It's going to be the chess club. If you were in high school and you remember the chess club, I wasn't in it, but I knew people. No disrespect to the chess club people, but it's going to be like a chess club. You're going to have 2 guys battling as a chess match, and that is going to be crazy. It's going to be chess, not checkers. I'm telling you, that right there is going to be a tough game because it really depends on who's the better coach on that game. Flat out, man. And then again, I honestly think Seattle's going to be a tough game because it's a division game. Pete Carroll's got them playing out of his mind. He's got Pete Carroll's got Geno Smith playing out of his mind. So it's a good question. And again, I think this team is a contender because they're getting healthy. Christian McCaffrey has just changed the offense. And if Jimmy Garoppolo can play like he did Sunday and he is dealing like he was and limiting mistakes, there's no question that they should be able to win 11 games. And then you have the defense who's been balling, man. Fred Warner came back and he showed us a Fred Warner performance. You saw him you see him spear that running back in the middle of the air. Like, bro, that was Fred Warner saying, look, I'm tired of people hating on me. Dude was Superman. Then you had Nick Bosa getting back to form. And if Nick Bosa gets somebody in the line like Arik Armstead back, it's going to make his job a lifetime better. They need Armstead back. So, yeah. Where did my man Young Montana says, where did he get that hoodie? It's not a hoodie. It's a hoodie underneath. I got the hoodie from the Levi's Stadium store. But this right here is the Christian McCaffrey college throwback jersey. I went to Stanford Athletics today and grabbed it. I was down on campus. Sharia says, this team is too good not to be contenders. They have all pro skills at every position and all pros in every level of defense. You're absolutely right. This team is super talented, and that's another reason. But the thing is about this team is, can they be consistent? And that has been the issue. They're 4-4. So that tells you right there that when they win, they're good. When they lose, they don't. They're not. It's just inconsistent. A 4-4 record is 500. That's mediocrity. That is average. That is not consistent, right? They've made mistakes. They've shot themselves in the foot. They've had penalties. We know all the reasons they've been losing, right? Drop passes, interceptions, fumbles, penalties, poor defense, poor offense, inconsistencies, execution, lack of execution. That is what they have to be able to do. But in the second half of last game, they made the adjustments. I know a lot of people sit here and says, well, it was the Rams. They know the Rams. Regardless of if it was the Rams or not, that gives this team a lot of confidence going into the second half of the season because they've done it before in the past. Last year, they made the adjustments. And this year, I think they're going to make the adjustments. They seem like a second half team. They start slow traditionally under Kyle Shanahan, and they seem to turn it around traditionally. Yeah, except 2019, they started on a heater, and they just rode that momentum. But I honestly think this team is going to turn it around. And again, you have players that are coming back. You have Nick Bosa, who's finally he shook that Kansas City game off, man, and he dug deep And he came out that second half and he was super aggressive. Fred Warner was aggressive. The offense was aggressive. And that's what we need to see, aggressiveness. This team was aggressive in the second half, right? They were so aggressive in the second half. And that's what I've been missing. They ran the ball with authority. They were pushing the ball down the field. The defense was flying. They were hitting. They were getting pressure. That's what we need to see. And I think they woke up, and it's going to be a good second half. I honestly think this team is going to win 10, 11 games. They're going to be contenders. And if you really look at this NFC, it's a weird NFC. There's 3 teams in the NFC East that are I wouldn't say contenders, but are winning, have a winning record. You have the Giants, right? The Eagles and the Cowboys. The Cowboys are not a physical team. If they get to the playoffs, they'll fall apart. The Giants, they've been winning a lot of close games. They've been lucky. I will give them credit. Brian Daboll's changed the culture. They're winning games. It must be nice for them instead of losing games and being in shambles. But I haven't seen them play in a playoff in years. How the hell are they going to perform in the playoffs? That's a different story. Danny Dimes, please. He looks good right now, but is he going to be good in the playoffs? We've never even seen him win 10 games before. So let's talk about that before he gets to the playoffs. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, they're the real deal. They got a good defense. They got a good offense. But sometimes you peak a little too early, and maybe they will. But they are the definite top team in the NFC. I'll give them that. They're looking sharp. They've improved their team. The defense is amazing. They're pretty healthy. They don't really get hurt. And A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts have been phenomenal. Now, the Vikings, we know Kirk Cousins. He can't wake up for big games. They look great in the regular season. You hit them in the mouth. They're a team that's very punchable and soft. They'll fall apart in the playoffs. Packers, they might not make the playoffs. The Buccaneers might not make the playoffs the way they're looking right now. Tom Brady is in the middle of a divorce in shambles. Atlanta Falcons are leading that division. If we play the Atlanta Falcons and get a revenge game in the playoffs, we are going to take them down. That first game against them, Niners are not going to like that taste that left in their mouth. If the Niners get another crack at Atlanta in the playoffs, they're taking them down. Mark my word. They will take them down. They're going to make Marcus Mariota look like Marcus Chupiata. I don't know. They're going to make him look silly. Make Marcus Mariota look like Colt McCoy. Well, not Colt McCoy because he beat the Niners. They're going to make him look like a bad quarterback. Bottom line. That's it. Klars says, it feels like when the Eagles get punched in the mouth, they'll be exposed. And that is such a good comment because the Eagles are a team. Right now, they're bullies. They're a physical team, so they think. But the Niners are the most physical team in the NFL. Remember last year when the Cowboys last year were the bullies? We're the bullies. We're the biggest bully in the NFL. We're the guys. Where were they in the play? Micah Parsons got bullied by Ayuk. Diggs got bullied by Ayuk and Jennings. The Niners punched him in the mouth. And that's what they did. And that's why the 49ers can win games. And this is why they're a contender, because they're more physical than anybody. But also because they're so physical, they get hurt. And that's what they need to do is stay healthy. Honestly, this is one of the biggest keys for them to do well is stay healthy. If they can't stay healthy, it's going to be hard. But I feel like they're getting healthy at the right time. The bye week came at literally this is probably the best time the bye has ever come. In the middle of the season, they're now able to kind of look back at the last half of the first half of the season, reflect on it, get healthy, and dial in and say, okay, we have a second half of the season. It's right here for the taking. Now we know what we need to do. We can be focused, and I think they're definitely in midseason form. And I think all the games they've played, it's got them in good shape. And now they're ready to go on a stretch run. And then you're getting players back: Elijah Mitchell, Kyle Juszczyk, Azeez Al-Shahir, Arik Armstead, et cetera. Jimmy Ward's not going to have one hand out there. They're getting healthy at the right time. And Christian McCaffrey put a jolt in this team's offense. Like, this guy is electrifying, and he literally just gave this team a jolt of energy that they desperately needed. And now this team has a whole new vibe, a whole new swagger. This team's going to be amazing, man. You could just see the vibe last weekend, like just how hyped this team was. And you could tell they're going, it's been like building. It's been building. And I think that was the game where they were like, okay, boom, we got it, and they're going to roll. I honestly wish they played this weekend, because when you have momentum and you're rolling, you want to keep that momentum going. But it also was good because they needed to rest themselves and get healthy. And I feel like they're going to continue that momentum going into the Chargers game. So, yeah, smack dab in the middle, literally smack in the middle. Finish off strong. Clark says, rather have injuries and bumps and bruises now than later. That's it. And exactly, like, it is in a way a silver lining. I hate injuries. I hated that we lost those players, but most of those guys are coming back, and it's good that those injuries happen early because you can get healthy. And the fact that they stayed at 500 was very good. If they would have went to 3-5 or 2-6, something like that, if they would have been having a losing record right now, it would have been hard to climb back. But they're in good shape. They're 4-4. They got the whole rest of the season ahead of them, and I think that's a very good time to get all these players back, because other teams might be getting hurt at this time. The fact that we got hurt early, it's good for us because we're going to get these players back. And, as long as there's no more injuries, then we should be all good. Now, let's hope they don't have any other injuries. The one injury I feel like really killed us was the Emmanuel Mosley injury. God, I wish we didn't lose Mosley because he's a starter, and he's a quality starter, and he was in a contract year. Like, that was a big injury. I don't know if they'll ever have the same type of, lockdown duo like that for a while. I know Jason Verrett will probably come back soon, but how effective is he going to be? He's always dealing with injuries. Are they going to throw him full bore out there? You probably want to ease him back in. You got Lenore and Womack, the youngsters. They're looking pretty good at times, but they are inconsistent because they're young and they're learning. So, it really depends on who they play on a given week, because if they have to go up against the Bills or the Chiefs, and you have Lenore and Womack, that's going to be a tough matchup no matter what, no matter how you slice it. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we had Emmanuel Mosley. But, hey, that's looking way too deep. You got to go week by week. It's a week-by-week league. And I think right now we have a strong team. The defense is getting healthier. And when Greenlaw – I forgot about Greenlaw, too. He'll be back. When Greenlaw and Aziz Al-Shahir come back, and, Arik Armstead, that's going to be huge because the defense can get more pressure. And it'll take pressure off the back end, and they can – do their job a little bit easier. They can breathe a little bit easier. So, overall, this team is going to get healthy at the right time. All right time. Clark says, the Eagles are getting crowned best in the NFC. What about the healthy Niners squad? Continue to count us out. I like getting counted out because it bodes well. Whenever the Niners are called pretenders and people doubt them, they see that stuff. It's bulletin board material. The players see the social media stuff. They see it. So it's nice when we get doubted. But, after a win, a lot of people start believing in us. And I've seen it. Dan Orlovsky, so we're the scariest team in the league, in the NFC. There are people out there that are like, man, if this team is healthy, they're going to dominate. Like, teams can see it. People can see it. Analysts can see it. Unless they're just blind haters and they think the Niners suck or whatever. Most of these guys are smart and they see the talent. They don't want to look dumb this year, because if this team is healthy, I mean, it's just naturally common sense. If they're healthy, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Bosa, Warner, some of the best players at every position, Kyle Juszczyk, Christian McCaffrey. Like, it's crazy. Trent Williams, all the talent they have. Teams know. People know. If this team is healthy, they're dangerous. And they're about to get healthy, so they're going to be dangerous. They're a contender. 100% contender. Contender, baby. They are contenders. Could have been a contender. Debtopia says, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. 100%. I will live and die with that sentiment. That is definitely true. Finish off strong, says Labby. That's it. Blue Dot says, the Eagles can be the Ravens 2019. They can win all they want, but if they don't make any sort of adjustments in the second half, they'll lose as good as Dallas. They cannot take physicality. I love this comment. It's exactly what we're talking about. Will they be able to withstand the rigors of the physical offseason? Right now they have a easy schedule. I'm going to be honest with you. The Eagles' schedule is cakewalk. It's like taking candy from a baby right now. No disrespect to the Eagles. They have a great record. Their team looks so good, but they haven't really beaten anybody amazing, right? They beat Dallas, but we know Dallas is soft, right? They beat the Vikings, but again, what did we just say? Kirk Cousins couldn't beat he couldn't win a meaningful game of his life dependent on it, is what it seems like. They really haven't beat anybody, and their schedule is easy. They could probably win most of these games with their eyes closed. I hope they play with their eyes closed against us if we play them. But I mean, what I'm saying is their schedule is so easy. And you're right. Second half, teams get strong. They make adjustments. Teams kind of turn. They flip that switch. If you're a championship type team, you got to flip the switch. And it's a different game, especially in the postseason. It's a physical game. A physical game. And again, the Niners are more physical than anybody. More anybody. These teams remind me of the 2014, 2018 Patriots. They struggle in September and October. Come November, December, they play their best and make their playoff football. And let's hope that this is the case. Again, the Niners start slow, so if they can play their best in November, December, January, and maybe February, that's what it's all about. Yes, you can struggle early in the season, but it's again how you, like everybody's saying, it's how you finish. If they can play the way they did Sunday, which I think they very well will, and they start peaking in December, you start winning December and you make it a December to remember, and you get into that January football mode and you start playing the way you were playing in December, you're going to keep rolling. And that's what it's all about. That's exactly what happened with the Niners last year. They caught a roll. Dallas game, vibed it. Green Bay game, holy smokes, vibe. And yes, I know we fell short of the ultimate goal, but man, we shouldn't have even been there. They played absolutely phenomenal down the stretch when it mattered. When it mattered. Pete says he's got it as San Francisco and Dallas NFC Championship. I think it's going to be San Francisco versus the Eagles. I really do. I think those are the two top teams in the NFC, and I think they're going to battle it out in the NFC Championship. I really do. I just don't see Dallas winning a big game in the play. I just see them getting bullied. I know they have a good defense, but I could see them getting bullied again. And I don't trust Dak Prescott with my life in the playoffs. I don't know. I don't. Danny Dimes, again, if they make it, I don't trust him walking me down the street. I don't trust Danny Dimes walking me down the street if I was an old lady. I don't. I don't trust him. I would say, you know what? I'm going to wait for my grandfather. I'm going to wait for my grandson who's 2 cities away before you walk me down the street, Danny. That's what I'm going to do if I'm an older person waiting to cross the street. I don't trust Danny Dimes. And again, all the other teams, they suck in the NFC. Again, Seattle, got to respect him. Pete Carroll, he's got Geno Smith playing phenomenal football. So, Sharia says Seattle and San Francisco battling for the top of the division, just like the Harbaugh did. It's what it's going to be this year. It's going to be Seattle versus San Francisco. Literally, the top 2 teams in the NFC. John says the NFC is weak. Yeah, it is weak this year. Honestly, it is. Again, and that's why if we make it 10 wins, we're sitting pretty. We'll probably be the 2 seed. If the 49ers win the NFC West, they're going to be the number 2 seed right now. I don't think they can catch the Eagles. They're 7-0, 3 games up on the Niners, and they got the easiest schedule I've seen. It's like easy as pie. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be the battle, man. Seattle versus San Francisco. I can't wait for that game. That is the NFC West game right there. I think whoever wins that game is going to win the division. I'm telling you. Gold-blooded says Seattle is not a real threat. They will start fading, and the Niners are going to dog walk them next time we see them. I hope so, Gold-blood. I hope you're right. I'm going to respect them because they have a good coach. I've been wrong on them all year. I didn't think they were good. I thought they were going to be a bottom dweller on this team. Cellar dweller. They've played good, man. I'm going to give them credit. They've drafted well. Kenneth Walker has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. And, again, they've played very, very, very good. And Geno Smith, I give him a lot of credit. And not only that, what's the other guy? Losing my thought here. Tariq Woolen, cornerback, rookie cornerback. Phenomenal. So, I was wrong. I know we beat them, but that was a little earlier in the season, and I feel like they've gotten better since that game. So it's going to be a tough game. I think the Niners can still beat them. But, anytime the 49ers play Seattle, it is a tough game because they have a guy named Pete Carroll. And he's a hell of a coach, man. Hell of a coach. Adam says, out of all the teams that have a good record or are playing good like the Eagles, what team do you see falling back? Whew, that's a good question. Honestly, I feel like a team that's a pretender right now, mm, mm, probably the Cowboys. Honestly, I just see the Cowboys being one of those teams that they look good. They play in a weak division, but I feel like they're gonna lose a few games that people are gonna be like, oh wow, head scratching game, right? I just don't trust the Cowboys to win a like. I don't know. I feel like the Cowboys are going to be a team that kind of falls a little bit. We'll see though. We'll see. Kansas City and who's the other guy? The Bills. Kansas City and Buffalo. Those two teams are phenomenal. I don't think they're going to have a fall. Those two teams are crazy good. Crazy good. Gold-blooded. They can beat. Yeah, and that's the thing. They're overachieving though. At the end of the day, I feel like gold-blooded. Yeah, I know what you're saying. He says they can beat the mid-level teams. They aren't on the level of upper echelon teams. And when we beat them, they were healthy and on defense. They scored 7. And it should have been a shutout. Agree, but that was way early in the season, and things changed. Look at us right now. We're peaking. We're kind of hitting our stride now, which we usually do. A lot of teams, again, they don't start strong and they finish strong. They've gotten better since the last time we played them, and they're overachieving. You never know. I know they probably can't beat the Chiefs or the Bills, just like we couldn't beat the Chiefs. But again, until we beat the Seahawks, I'm not going to sit here and say it's an easy game. They played well. They played well. That's all I'm trying to say. What do I think about the NFL's power rankings today? Niners at 5. It's pretty good. Again, if this team is healthy, they are a top 5 team, 100%. This team is a top 5 team. I mean, just look. I mean, you look at the roster. If you didn't look at records, and you were just an NFL fan, and you looked at this roster, and you're like, oh God, that's a top 5 team. They should be a top 5 team. And again, they beat the Super Bowl champs twice. They have had their shares of issues and struggles, but I think that tells you that analysts and everybody just looks at this team and says, God, man, if they are healthy, they are going to kick the competition's ass, right? Just look at, and I think also too, the addition of Christian McCaffrey, it just shows people like, man, this guy has really elevated the op. They just beat the defending Super Bowl champions by 17 points without Deebo Samuel. They just beat the Rams without Deebo Samuel. And everybody all week was saying they need Deebo Samuel to win, right? They're not going to win this game without Deebo. He's the Rams owner. Well, it turns out Christian McCaffrey's co-owner. So, didn't need Deebo, and they whooped him. So, Sacktown says the Rams are about to miss the playoffs. Can you imagine? That's shambles. They are falling apart. They are falling apart. I said it at the beginning of the season. I said the Rams are going to have a Super Bowl hangover. I got to find the live somewhere. I know I said it. And they are having a Super Bowl. They are drunk. They are driving under the influence. They are drunk at the wheel. Taylor Rapp, that boy got cooked. Taylor Rapp got cooked on the same play 2 years in a row. The touchdown throw, CMC Deebo. Jalen Ramsey, he missed the tackle on Deebo, and he missed the tackle on CMC. The same literal tackle. That photo was amazing. When I saw both of those, I saw the play. I was like, oh my God, he just did what he did to Deebo. I wish CMC would have broke that run off for a touchdown like Deebo did. But it was literally like almost the same like frame. It almost looked like the same picture. I was like, that is so funny. I was like, uh-oh. Literally the same picture. Crazy. Yeah, gold-blooded, 100%. They shouldn't have won last season, man. Damn Tart. I don't even want to talk about that game. Bad feelings. But, yeah, at the end of the day, man, the Niners are contenders in my eyes, not just because I'm a Niner fan, but, again, it's because they're going to get healthy. Christian McCaffrey has injected life into this offense. And their schedule's pretty easy. If you really look at their schedule, it's a pretty winnable schedule. They should be able to rattle off wins against the Commanders, the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Saints. They should win these games. They should. Now, I know there was games they should have won and they lost. So that's where consistency comes in. They have to be consistent. Appreciate you, T. Appreciate you, SF Niners, for like, y'all like this? The Christian McCaffrey Stanford throwback. This is like the favorite thing I've bought in a long time. It is gas. I love it. It's the favorite, but this is like the most favorite thing I bought in a long time. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. Any questions? Clark says Debo lined up at receiver again is scary. Teams won't. I cannot wait to see Debo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey in the same backfield, man. Scary hours, man. Gold Blooded says keeping it real. They have talent. Can they put it together some games with consistency? It's what scares me a bit. I do agree. That's what we've been saying is, can they be consistent? That is the one thing we need to see is consistency. And that is the key for this team. I agree 100%. And that's why I feel like a lot of people were worried and have been, and that's the thing. And I think that's the criticism. And it's fair criticism. As I've said it myself, this team is so inconsistent that it drives you insane because you're like, God, look at this damn team. Look at this team. You look at this team on paper and you're like, okay, nobody's beating this team, right? Like if you look at this team on paper, you're like, who's beating them? But the problem is you got to go out there and play the games, and they're inconsistent in mistakes. They get hurt. But I agree with you. If they can stay consistent, they should be able to play their brand of football and own a lot of these teams coming up. So, and I do agree with what you just said is Christian McCaffrey's really what was that final part of your he motivated? Yeah, CMC has motivated. And we said that at the beginning of the show is he makes everybody around him better. You can just see people are feeding off that energy. It's infectious. It's like infectious. When you have a guy like that comes in with that mentality and is gonna win and it's just like amazing like that, right? When a guy is just like a superstar, it spills over to everybody and everybody sees that and they're like, I want to be like him. I want to be like Christian McCaffrey. All right. So PJ, consistency is our biggest flaw. That and injuries. Staying healthy. God dog it. Oh man. Yep. Adam says it's gonna be a long 2 weeks. God, I know, man. Driving me insane thinking about it. But it's a well needed week off for the guys. They deserve it. Jimmy already a Super Bowl champ. Imagine if he gets his third. If he gets his third Super Bowl, this time as a actual person that quarterbacked the team, not on the bench, that's going to get a lot of people upset. That's a good question. What will happen if Jimmy wins the Super Bowl? Well, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. We can have a 2-3 hour show on that. On is Jimmy going to come back? If Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers win a Super Bowl this year, holy God, this offseason. Holy moly, this offseason. That's a whole other story for another day. Can you imagine? 49ers. They didn't want Jimmy. They threw him. It was like Andy from Toy Story. They threw him away. But he came back. He came back because Buzz Lightyear somehow got broken. And here comes Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. And they win the Super Bowl. Can you imagine? Smitty will be he will be mad. He's 100. D. Hurst says he's 100% back if he pulls that. Can you imagine the story? That's a movie. That's a movie. That's a Netflix original movie. I will watch that movie. Oh God, that will be an amazing movie if this happens. Whoo! I saw that on my Instagram today because I pulled it on my story. I said, answer your questions or submit your questions. Top questions will be answered live. So tonight when I go live, I'm going to look at the questions. I peeked at it a little bit. That was a big question. Like a lot of people asked that. So I know I'm going to have to talk about that tonight. It's a scary, that's a legit possibility. Ryan says, I would watch that movie. I would watch that movie all day. Gold Blooded says he will get paid if he does. I don't think he will be back though. Got to roll with the kid, get the ring, and finish this year's mission. I would love to, roll with Trey, but that's a you never know. Like, you can't sit here and not say they wouldn't flirt with the idea of bringing Jimmy. If they win a Super Bowl, fans are going to love him. He'll be a hero because he'd be the last. If Jimmy Garoppolo wins a Super Bowl as a quarterback of this team, the last quarterback to win a Super Bowl was Steve Young. Like, shit, man, they would flirt with the idea of keeping him. And I know they just traded all those draft picks for Trey Lance. It's definitely would be a wild offseason. A wild offseason. And speaking of those draft picks, the Miami Dolphins really did a good job with those. They got Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. They turned water into wine, man. They really turned those draft picks into key players. So shout out to the Dolphins. Right now, they look like they just stole that trade. But hey, again, Trey's still young. He hasn't really played, and we'll see what's going to happen with him. I think he could be a phenomenal player. But man, the Dolphins, they made out like bandits on that trade. Ryan, if we win the Super Bowl, would Trey get a ring? I'm pretty sure he would. He's still affiliated with the team. He's on the injured reserve, but I'm sure he's. I don't know. I'd have to look. I need to look at the rule because he's not on the active roster. But I will look into that and answer your question. I'll get back to you. It's a crazy offseason. I wouldn't mind having this time. Hey, at the end of the day, if we win a Super Bowl, definitely, I agree. I wouldn't be mad either. Yo, D. says Trey's on the bench for good if Jimmy somehow wins this Super Bowl. Can you imagine? The story's crazy. Okay, because Jimmy Garoppolo won 2 Super Bowls, right, as a backup quarterback to Tom Brady. Okay, he wins 2 Super Bowls, right? Now, he was supposed to be the backup and win the Super Bowl as a backup again, but now he's going to be the story is just, it just writes itself. It's a phenomenal story if it happens. I want it to happen because that means the Super Bowl champs are the 49ers. What a crazy offseason that would be. But we'll see. We got to make it to the playoffs first. We're 4-4. Let's just hope they make it to the playoffs first. Channel 49, good stuff. He says, if you were on the team at any point in the season, you get a ring. Okay, good answer. Appreciate you. I'm going to take your word for that. If you're on the team at any point of the season, you will get a Super Bowl championship ring. Good for that. Ryan says, honestly, if Jimmy wins the Super Bowl, I don't care who's. Honestly, if they win a Super Bowl, I don't care either. I just want to win a Super Bowl, man. VZ, this is a good question. We talked about this earlier in the week. We talked about this yesterday, so this is a true statement. He says, is it true that since CMC played a game, he can't change the number? It's not that CMC played a game. It's that Jeff Wilson Jr. played a game. So they were both on the same team. There's some weird rule in the NFL. John Lynch talked about this rule on KMBR last week. And I think Matt Mayoko tweeted about this today, that there's some weird rule that prevents a player, because the season already started. You can't just change your jersey in the middle of the season. They've already played games. Jeff Wilson, Christian McCaffrey, some weird rule that you can't just change it in the middle of the season. So that is the rule. Christian McCaffrey will stick with 23. Now the question is, will he change it next year? I don't know. So, and finally, God has just commented. God has commented, ladies and gentlemen, that OBJ is on the way. If God tells us that OBJ is on the way, OBJ. Yo, God is in the chat. Shout out to God. God just said that OBJ is on the way, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. God, I will be happy if this happens. Let's see. Let's go. Let's go. I hope it happens. Is that really you? Oh my God. Alberto says, if I had a wish, I would wish for this team to stay together and not let anyone go, including D'Amico Ryans, especially if we win the Super Bowl, to run it again. Yo, God, are you listening to this? I'm going to read this comment for you, God. Alberto says he wishes for this team to stay together. Do your thing, God. I love you. We'll see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's hope God's not lying to us. I would be very upset if God's lying to us. And that, my friends, is today's show. I think the Niners are contenders. They're going to come off the bye week healthy with a lot of excitement with CMC fresh off the NFC Player of the Week crowning and a big time win against the Rams. And I think this team is going to go on a run. I love you guys. You guys have a good one. Bang, bang.